In March of 1945, as the end of World War II obviously loomed, American forces prepared to embark on a critical mission: to cross the Rhine River and advance deep into the heart of Nazi Germany. The city of Cologne, a key strategic point, stood as a barrier to this advance. Cologne, once a bustling urban centre, had been transformed into a landscape of desolation and ruin due to relentless bombing campaigns. Entire city blocks turned to rubble, a grim testament to the destructive power of war. Despite this devastation, German forces, resilient and determined, remained hidden among the debris of what were once homes, businesses and places of worship. Amidst the chaos, a symbol of endurance emerged: the Cologne Cathedral. This magnificent structure, seemingly defying the odds, had survived dozens of bomb attacks, its spires continuing to reach toward the sky amidst a sea of destruction. At the forefront of the American offensive were the crews of the M26 Pershing tanks. These tanks, a recent addition to the American arsenal, were specifically designed to counter the German Panther and Tiger tanks. Equipped with powerful guns and thick armor, the Pershings represented America's industrial and military might. As the American forces made their way through the devastated streets of Cologne, a dramatic and historic confrontation unfolded. In one of the city's main thoroughfares, a scene straight out of a war film was set as a lone German Panther tank, poised for a final, desperate stand, faced off against an American Pershing. The Panther, a lethal hunting machine, had lain in wait among the ruins, ready to challenge the invaders. This extraordinary moment, a microcosm of the larger conflict, was captured on film. The footage, stark and gripping, would be regarded as some of the most dramatic and impactful to emerge from the Second World War. It encapsulated the intensity of tank warfare and the broader struggle between two powerful adversaries in a world upended by conflict. When World War II erupted in Europe in 1939, the concept of armored warfare was revolutionized by the German Blitzkrieg, a strategy that demonstrated the menacing potential of tanks. These behemoths significantly evolved from the slow and cumbersome prototypes of World War I, now symbolized swift destruction and advanced military strategy. This new generation of tanks, characterized by their speed and firepower, quickly proved itself on the battlefield. The initial fleets of Panzer I and II tanks, central to the Blitzkrieg strategy, were instrumental in the rapid conquests of Poland, France, Belgium, Holland, and much of continental Europe. These armored vehicles sliced through enemy lines with unprecedented ease, rewriting the rules of ground warfare. However, the seemingly unstoppable tide of German lightning-fast tank supremacy met its first major challenge, with the onset of Operation Barbarossa, the ambitious and ultimately fateful invasion of the Soviet Union in 1941. Here, the German panzer crews encountered a more dangerous adversary: the Soviet KV series of heavy tanks and the T-34 medium tank. These Soviet armored vehicles, with their robust armor and superior firepower, posed a significant threat to the earlier German tank models, necessitating a swift and effective response from German military engineers. This led to the creation of the Panther, a first-generation medium tank, and the Tiger I, a heavy tank. Both designs represented significant advancements in tank technology, featuring thick armor plates and powerful cannons capable of penetrating the defenses of enemy tanks with ease. The Panther tank, officially known as the Panzerkampfwagen 5 Panther, was equipped with frontal hull armor that was up to 80 mm thick and sloped at a 55-degree angle to increase its effective thickness against incoming fire. Its turret front was similarly protected with about 100 mm of armor. The Panther's main armament was a 7.5 centimeter gun, one of the most powerful medium tank guns of World War II. The Tiger I, officially designated as the Panzerkampfwagen 6 Tiger, was a more heavily armed beast. The Tiger I main cannon was an 8.8 centimeter gun, based on a variant of the famous anti-aircraft gun, renowned for devastating power and exceptional accuracy. This gun could knock out any Allied tank from considerable distances, further enhancing the Tiger's fearsome reputation on the battlefield. On most fronts, these new German tanks proved to be highly destructive. The Panther and the Tiger, with their superior armor and firepower, often outmatched their Allied counterparts. This disparity was particularly evident when comparing these German tanks to the American M4 Sherman, which had been in service since 1942. Although the M4 Sherman was effective in certain respects and could be produced rapidly, it was generally outclassed by the Panther and the Tiger. This technological gap led to a grim jest among German tank crews on the Western Front. They often quipped that one Panther or Tiger tank was worth 10 American Shermans. The catch, however, as they ruefully noted, was that the Americans always seemed to arrive with more than 11 tanks. This observation underscored not just the disparity in tank quality, but also the sheer industrial and numerical advantage that the Allies, particularly the United States, held over Germany as the war progressed. This overwhelming material superiority, combined with evolving tactics and newer models like the more formidable M26 Pershing, gradually tilted the balance in favor of the Allies. By 1944, as the tide of World War II gradually turned, American military engineers, recognizing the need to finally break the German panzers, initiated the development of a new tank model. This endeavor began with the prototype designated T-20, which would later evolve into the T-26E1. This new tank was a significant departure from previous American designs, particularly regarding firepower and protection. The T-26E1 was designed to turn around the fortune of American armor on the battlefield. It was equipped with a potent 90mm cannon, capable of engaging and destroying the heavily armored German tanks at considerable distances. Moreover, the tank boasted 102mm of frontal armor, offering enhanced protection against the powerful anti-tank weapons of the enemy. This focus on armor and firepower, however, increased the tank's weight to around 40 tons, classifying it as a heavy tank. One of the distinctive features of this tank was its firing mechanism. In contrast to the M4 Sherman, which employed a floor-mounted firing button activated by the gunner's foot, the T-26E1 introduced a trigger on the grip used to rotate the turret. This modification was part of an overall design philosophy aimed at improving the efficiency and responsiveness of the tank in combat situations. Upon completion, this new model was named the Pershing tank, in honor of General John J. Pershing, who had led the American Expeditionary Force during World War I. The Pershing was seen as a symbol of American industrial and military innovation, a response to the evolving challenges on the European battlefields. In February 1945, fewer than 100 Pershing tanks had arrived in Europe, where they were to be tested under combat conditions by some of the best tank crews the United States could muster. Among these crews was one led by Staff Sergeant Robert Early, a group of men who had been in combat since September 1944 and had proven their valor and competence in numerous engagements. One member of Early's crew, Corporal Clarence Smoyer, had distinguished himself with exceptional marksmanship and a calm demeanor under stress, crucial for a tank gunner. The crew quickly recognized the Pershing as a powerful weapon, one capable of taking on and defeating German panzers in direct combat. After familiarizing themselves with the Pershing, Early's crew was assigned a critical mission. They were to spearhead the assault into the city of Cologne, a strategic objective necessary for the Allied advance. To push towards Berlin, it was imperative for the Allies to secure Cologne and its remaining bridges across the Rhine. This assignment was not just a test of the new tank's capabilities, but also a significant moment in the push toward the heart of Nazi Germany. Operation Lumberjack, initiated in early March 1945, was a pivotal Allied operation in the latter stages of World War II. Its objective was to breach the German defenses on the Western Front and secure the west bank of the Rhine River, targeting key cities such as Cologne, Koblenz, and the Ruhr industrial region. This move was essential in setting the stage for the final incursion into Nazi Germany's core territories. Under the command of General Dwight D. Eisenhower, this large-scale operation mobilized several American armies, each with specific tasks and objectives. The First Army, led by General Courtney H. Hodges, had a central role in this offensive. Their primary mission was the capture of Cologne, a city of significant cultural and industrial importance, and then a swift advance eastwards to the Rhine. Notably, the First Army's 5th Corps was directly involved in the urban battle for Cologne, which demanded exceptional coordination between infantry and armored divisions, such as the 1st Infantry and the 9th Armored Divisions. Simultaneously, General George S. Patton's Third Army was tasked with moving towards Trier and Koblenz, engaging in operations that demanded strategic finesse and raw power. The Third Army's 12th and 20th Corps played instrumental roles in these maneuvers, overcoming both natural and man-made defensive positions set up by the German forces. The 7th Army was also a crucial component in this operation, focusing its efforts towards the Saar Basin. This region, rich in industrial resources, was vital for hindering the German war machine's capacity and securing a strategic advantage. Despite being outgunned and outnumbered, the German army mounted a potent defense. They used natural barriers like the Rhine River and the entrenched Siegfried Line to delay the Allied advance. Cologne, once a bustling metropolis, had been reduced to rubble through incessant Allied bombings. The labyrinthine ruins of the city provided the German defenders with cover and advantageous sniping positions, necessitating a meticulous and cautious advance from the American forces. In the Battle of Cologne, the 3rd Armored Division and its subordinate units, like the 32nd Armored Regiment, faced a landscape of destruction and chaos. Maneuvering through the ruined streets of Cologne, American tanks and infantry had to coordinate closely, adapting their tactics to the challenges of brutal, close-quarters urban combat. On the night of March 3, 1945, the American 3rd Armored Division arrived in the ancient city of Cologne. Founded over 2 millennia ago by the Romans, the city was now a shadow of its former self, having borne the brunt of relentless Allied bombing raids. The historic architecture and the vibrant life it once held had been replaced by devastation and the echoes of war. Cologne, the Reich's 4th largest city, had witnessed a drastic reduction in its population. From a bustling urban centre, it had been reduced to a desolate war zone, with over 90% of its inhabitants gone. The few civilians who remained were lost amidst the ruins of their once thriving city, navigating the rubble-strewn streets. Defending what was left of Cologne were the remnants of Germany's formidable military divisions: the 3rd Panzer Grenadier, the 363rd Volksgrenadier, and the 9th Panzer. Though battered and diminished, these units were resolved to make a final stand. As the Allied forces advanced, the German troops strategically retreated towards the Rhine River, their last line of defense to prevent the Allies from crossing into the heartland of Germany. The majority of Cologne's bridges had been destroyed in an attempt to hinder the Allied advance. Despite this, some German armoured units remained in the city, determined to resist to the very end. Into this crucible of conflict rolled Sergeant Bob Early's Pershing tank, Eagle 7, on March 6th. The tank and its crew had arrived in a city that was a mere skeleton of its former self. Corporal Smoyer heard Lieutenant Bill Stillman's stirring words as they looked upon the battered cityscape. Quote, "Gentlemen, I give you Cologne, let's knock the hell out of it." The crew of Eagle 7, comprising Sergeant Early, Gunner Smoyer, Loader John DeRiggy, driver Woody McVeigh and radio operator Smokey David, was an assembly of skilled and determined soldiers. As they idled at an intersection in Cologne, nearby Sherman tanks moved toward the cathedral. A blockage suddenly halted the advance, freezing the entire column of US soldiers in place. Just moments before, Eagle 7 had engaged in a fierce skirmish with a lurking Panzer IV. The encounter had been chaotic, with a civilian car mistakenly caught in the crossfire, leading to civilian casualties. The mistake weighed heavily on the crew as they waited for medics to tend to the injured. Meanwhile, 2 Sherman tanks from Fox Company were making their way along a different route towards the Cologne Cathedral. The tanks, led by the experienced Lieutenant Karl Kellner, maneuvered through Commodienstrasse Street towards the train station. However, their progress was abruptly interrupted by a large pile of rubble. Unbeknownst to them, a German Panther tank lay in wait, hidden in a strategic position. German Lieutenant Wilhelm Bartelbort, in command of the Panther, seized the opportunity. He ordered his crew to open fire, launching 2 47mm shells that struck Kellner's Sherman with devastating speed and precision. A third shot disabled the tracks of the 2nd Sherman, which quickly reversed to seek cover. This harrowing incident was captured on film by photographer Jim Bates, who was accompanying the infantry. As the Sherman burned, Lieutenant Kellner emerged grievously wounded, having lost his left leg. Despite the efforts of his comrades, he succumbed to his injuries within an hour. Bates, ceasing his recording, rushed to inform Sergeant Early about the lurking foe near the cathedral. Both men ran to get a better view of their surroundings, spotting the Panther poised in front of the cathedral, almost as if challenging the American forces to a duel. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Early decided to take a tactical approach. He planned to flank the Panther from a different street, As he relayed his strategy to his crew, Bates positioned himself in a nearby building, ready to capture the imminent clash. As Eagle 7, the Pershing tank under the command of Sergeant Bob Early, navigated the rubble-strewn streets of Cologne towards its objective, Early's voice cut through the tense air, instructing the nearby Sherman tank crews to maintain their distance. The gravity of the situation was palpable. They were about to engage in a direct confrontation with a German Panther tank. Tank gunner Corporal Clarence Smoyer, a man renowned for his exceptional marksmanship, communicated his strategy to Early. He intended to target the Panther's hull, a move that would increase the likelihood of a direct and effective hit. Early gave Smoyer free rein, remarking, quote, "Shoot wherever you want. He's just sitting there like he owns the place." The crew promptly loaded an armor-piercing round, a choice tailored for rapid reloading, essential in fast-paced, life-or-death circumstances. With tactical precision, Smoyer maneuvered the turret to the right, cautious not to collide with the adjacent building, a testament to the crew's awareness of their urban surroundings. Lieutenant Wilhelm Bartelborth, commanding the German Panther, was alerted to the approach of an unfamiliar tank by its distinctive sound. Anticipating a confrontation, he directed their turret toward the corner where Eagle 7 was expected to emerge. The moment was fraught with tension. American crew members McVeigh and Davis were the first to spot the Panther, its menacing gun barrel trained on them. McVeigh, sensing imminent danger, instinctively hit the pedal, maneuvering the Pershing out of the Panther's direct line of fire. Bartelborth and his crew were momentarily thrown off by the appearance of the Pershing. Unfamiliar with its design, they mistakenly thought it might be one of their own. This brief moment of confusion was all Smoyer needed. Without a second's hesitation, he fired, and the Panther was engulfed in flames. Bartelborth and 3 of his crew managed to escape the inferno, scrambling for cover. But the battle was far from over. In Eagle 7, loader John DeRiggy prepared another shell, quickly following up with a second strike. A desperate attempt by the gunner inside the Panther to escape was thwarted as Smoyer's third shot hit its mark, resulting in a catastrophic explosion that enveloped the German tank in fierce, bright flames. In the aftermath of the critical battle in Cologne, where the actions of Staff Sergeant Robert Early and Tank Gunner Corporal Clarence Smoyer were instrumental in taking down the German Panther tank, recognition for their bravery was initially forthcoming. Both men were notified of their impending receipt of the Bronze Star, a significant military decoration awarded for acts of heroism, bravery, or meritorious service. However, this recognition for Smoyer faced an unexpected setback. It was discovered that he had interacted with German children on the streets of Cologne. At that time, any fraternization with the enemy was strictly prohibited by military regulations. This seemingly innocuous interaction led to the military police revoking Smoyer's commendation. His name was removed from the award list, and the recognition he had earned in combat was nullified. This decision remained unchallenged for decades until author Adam Makos, who detailed the events in Cologne and the actions of Eagle 7's crew, championed Smoyer's cause. Recognizing the heroism Smoyer displayed and the unjust nature of the decision, Makos petitioned for the recognition Smoyer deserved. This advocacy prompted the army to reconsider its earlier decision. 75 years after the battle, the army corrected this historical oversight. Clarence Smoyer was awarded the Bronze Star for his bravery and significant contributions during the Battle of Cologne. Furthermore, the other members of the Eagle 7 crew were also duly recognized, with 3 additional Bronze Stars being awarded. This late acknowledgement solidified their status as one of the most celebrated tank crews in US Army history. Smoyer, who was just a 21-year-old officer of slight build during the time of the battle, was henceforth remembered and honored as the hero of Cologne. His story, once obscured by the complexities of war regulations, emerged as a testament to the courage and resilience of the young men who fought in World War II.